Joe O'Dea, you are running for U.S. Senate. If you are elected, what's your first order of business going to be?
Well, we need to get a voice back in Washington for working Americans here in Colorado. We've been neglected for way too long. We've been footing the bill for all the tax and spend spree that Washington's been on. We need to control the spending. We need to get these oil and gas businesses back up and running here in Colorado. $5 gas, it goes up a dime a day, it seems like right now. Biden's setting a record almost every day of the week. And it's unfortunate because it's an unintended tax that working Americans here in Colorado and across this great nation are having to pay.
So it sounds like what you're saying is inflation is number one first thing that needs to be addressed if you get in there?
You bet. It's the only thing people here in Colorado are talking about. $5 gas, they're talking about 8.5% inflation. They're talking about 30% on our grocery bills if you can even get anything at the grocery store. A lot of the shelves are bare right now, and so it's the biggest thing affecting us. And then second to that is crime. 30% hike in crime. We've got the highest car theft rate in the entire nation right now. That's not the Colorado I grew up in, and that's not the Colorado I want to leave to my kids.
We'll certainly talk about that in a little bit more depth. So a Republican has not held this U.S. Senate seat since Ben Nighthouse Campbell in 2004. What are you going to do to make sure that you win over not only the Republican Party, but also unaffiliated voters that you cannot win a race like this without?
Right. Well, it's about the issues this year. And we're seeing Biden at an all-time low. Bennett votes with him 100% of the time. And so I'm going to take that to the voters here in Colorado, and I'm going to make sure they know it's Democratic policies both in Washington and Denver that are causing this inflation. It's the overspending by big government. It's the Fed asleep, the Federal Reserve asleep at the wheel. It's oil and gas restrictions that are just crushing working Americans right now. We take that message and we start talking about that. That's what's affecting families across this great state. They're ready for a change, and that's how I'm going to be the next U.S. Senator here in Colorado.
Why is your opponent not the right fit for this position?
Well, look, he's a politician. He's flip-flopped on several issues. He flip-flopped on abortion. He's flip-flopped on taxes. He's flip-flopped on gun control. He's flip-flopped on a number of things. He's got the worst show-up record in the House. Last year, he missed 47% of the meetings, the committee meetings for energy here in Colorado. It's probably the most important meeting that he could have been at. They were raising the price of gas a dime a day when he was in there supposedly fighting for working Americans here in Colorado. Guy doesn't show up for work. And so the biggest difference between me and him is I'm going to show up for work and I'm going to fight for working Americans here in Colorado.
If he were to win the primary, do you think that he has a shot against Michael Bennet?
This guy can't win the primary. If he wins the primary, they're going to be talking about his flip-flopping all summer. They're going to be talking about his lack of work ethic, calling him lazy, and they're going to be talking about some of the crazy bills he's voted on. The guy voted down a bill that would have made it a criminal offense for teachers to have groomed 18-year-old students. I don't know, I've got a daughter. I don't want a person of trust, a teacher, trying to groom my daughter for sex. It's a crazy vote. He was the only Republican that voted against that. Crazy. That's what they're going to be talking about.
And speaking of your opponent, one of the largest issues that he's spoken out about is election integrity. Do you believe that our elections are secure, and are you confident that they're secure right now?
Look, I'm confident that I'm going to get elected here this November. This guy, I mean, he spent more time blowing up a copy machine than he did at work. It's crazy. Biden's our president. I've said that the day one I got into this race. He's a lousy president. And these policies that Bennett and Biden have put in place are what's causing this inflation here in Colorado and across the United States.
Your opponent's also called for the end of mail-in voting. Do you believe in mail-in voting? Do you support mail-in voting?
I do. My wife and I voted here last week, and we turned in our ballots, and we got an email, a text that came and said, hey, we've just received your vote. So I believe in the system. It's been polished here for 10 years. We've had mail-in ballots.
And so, you know, there is a faction of the Republican Party that does believe the things that Representative Hanks and Tina Peters and others are saying. You know, how do you as a candidate appeal to the Republican voters that you need to win a primary election, but then move that into the general election and appeal to a wider base.
Well, look, there's a lot of things here in Colorado that we can do to shore up the security around our voting system. Ballot harvesting should be made illegal. We need to do a better job with IDs. We need to do a better job with signature verification. There's always a few things that you can tweak. But I'm not looking backwards. I'm looking forwards. People don't want to talk about a stolen election. What they want to talk about is $5 gas, inflation 8.5%, 30% on our groceries, 30% hike in crime. Those are the things that people are talking about at the kitchen table. That's what's important to Coloradans.
And one more on this topic. What did you think of, the January 6th? Have you been paying attention to the January 6th committee? What do you think should be done with the people that were inside of the Capitol building when they shouldn't have been on January 6th?
Look, I've been an advocate for if you break the law, if you're a vandal or you do something violent, you need to do some time. We need to hold people accountable. Same thing happened with all these mostly peaceful protests that we had here 2 summers ago. Hold them accountable. That's the problem with our society. We're not holding people accountable. I'm an advocate for the cops. We need more cops. We need DAs that'll actually hold people accountable. We need to get these criminals off the street.
And let's go ahead and switch to that topic then. I mean, tell me what you think needs to be done. Obviously, we've had some very serious mass shootings that have really rocked the country, in Uvalde and Buffalo. Even here in Colorado, we've had mass shootings. What would you like to see done about guns, and would you support some of the proposed changes that the Senate is now considering?
Well, it's good to see that they're having conversations around mental health. I don't believe you can legislate against evil, so the laws, you keep changing the laws, but the definition of a criminal is someone who doesn't obey the law. But we're really starting to hear them talk about mental health, and I think that's where we've got to really reinforce getting these people the help that they need. If somebody threatens somebody online, which a lot of these guys that have done this have had threats out there before, hold them accountable, get them off the street. They should be locked up. We can't stand for that in our society. The other thing that they're talking about back there is more cops. I've been an advocate for more cops in our school, more cops in our communities. That's where we're going to try and make a difference. We've got to get crime under control across the board.
So some of the negotiations that are underway right now in the U.S. Senate are for things like a federal extreme risk protection order or red flag law, as we have in here in Colorado, or closing the boyfriend loophole, or extending background checks. I mean, are those things that you can get behind in some fashion?
Well, I think when you start talking about a red flag law, we've got one here. It hasn't made a difference. So I don't know how that's going to help make a difference. The boyfriend thing's very easy. Lock him up. If he threatens my daughter or he hit my daughter, give him a felony. That way he's never going to get a gun. That's how you get these guys off the street. We just need to lock them up.
Let's go ahead and switch topics and talk about, kind of the overall environment in Congress right now. There are some people who go to Congress to try to make a difference, and some people who go to Congress who make a lot of headlines. Which candidate are you going to be?
Well, I'm going to be a candidate that works hard for Colorado. I've had my limelight here, run a great business here for 35 years. We employ 300 families. I'm not after the limelight. What I'm after is results. I want to get some results for working Americans here in Colorado. That means cutting back the price of gas. It means getting inflation under control. It means cutting regulation, getting it out of the way so businesses can flourish and continue to pay those high wages that we saw through the Trump era. Those were all about getting government out of the way, and that's the kind of guy I'm going to be. I'm not afraid to make a deal with people on good legislation, but I'm not going to cower away from things that actually need to get done. I'll hold my own against anybody in the Senate.
Would that be difficult? Something that we have seen is a lot of pressure from the different political parties, both Republicans and Democrats on Congress, to kind of back into their own political corners. I mean, how do you guarantee that you're not going to be one of those candidates that backs into a political corner instead of trying to find, even if it's not the best solution, a compromise so that something is actually done?
Look, I've been doing that all my life. I've run a business where you have to compromise. You have to compromise with your employees, you have to compromise with your customers, and I understand how to do that. And that's why I'll be a really good U.S. Senator, is because I understand those concepts. Getting a 3/4, 7/8 of a deal, sometimes that's a really good deal. And that, if it's a good deal for Colorado, then I'll stand tall with that and I'll make sure we get across the finish line.
Let's go ahead and pivot to, the other major topic that's kind of been dominating the headlines recently, and is going to continue to dominate the headlines as we await that Supreme Court ruling. Abortions. I heard you at the Western Conservative Summit kind of acknowledge to some of the people that were there that you don't share 100% of their beliefs when it comes to abortions. What is it that you want Republican voters to know, and unaffiliated voters, because they are able to participate in these primaries, about your stance on abortion and how that, or whether that, should drive their vote?
Well, I believe in the sanctity of life. I really do, and I'm Christian, and I believe we need to be respectful. I've continued to say that where the abortion law is here in Colorado is reckless. Polis's abortion law is reckless. I'll stand against late-term abortions. I'll stand against paying for it with taxpayer dollars. I'll stand against making religious institutions perform something that they don't want to do. And I'll make sure that we have parental notification. Those are the very, very core of my being. But I don't believe in a total ban. I believe that decision is between a woman and her doctor, her God. And so I believe also that you can't mandate things. You can't mandate anything. So just because we mandate no abortions, if we were to do that, that doesn't mean they're going to go away. That means they're going to be done in a dark alley. And I don't believe in that. I believe if we do want to end abortion here in Colorado and across the United States, we need to start funding adoption. It's a deeply personal issue for me. I'm adopted. My brave biological mother did the right thing. She carried me to term and then turned me over to two loving parents. I want to make that available to more people. I think we should have tax incentives for that. I think we should help nonprofits that want to fund adoption and make that more of a success here in the United States. That's how you end it.
And speaking of children, let's talk a little bit about the extended child tax credit. Is that something that you would support?
I've been an advocate for the any kind of tax credits are good. Tax credits are normally good. I disagreed with the extended tax credit that funded people that make too much money. I think there needs to be a limit on who qualifies for that. But I would look at that and try and get that across the finish line. Michael Bennett's failed on that again. He didn't get it done this time. And I think Joe Manchin had it right. We said, hey, these wages that you're allowing are too excessive. We can't have people making $400,000 a year that get a tax credit.
So you alluded to them a little bit earlier, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the social justice protests that we saw in 2020. Obviously, they came in the wake of the death of George Floyd, and here in Colorado, the death of Elijah McClain. In the wake of that, we saw Colorado's own legislature pass law enforcement reforms. I'm wondering, from somebody, who's a candidate who has law enforcement support, are there reforms that need to happen to law enforcement on a federal level? Are there any changes that you think need to move forward?
Well, look, if you talk to police in general, and my dad was a 30-year veteran of the Denver Police Department, cops don't want bad cops on the force. They'll turn them over in a heartbeat because they gave the entire police force a black eye. And so they're policing themselves as well. I believe anybody that uses excessive force that doesn't follow the law, whether it's a cop or not a cop, they should be put away. Get them off the street. Our society doesn't need more violence. Our society needs more law and order. And I've been behind that 100% since I started in this race.
Broadening out that topic a little bit, are there elements of racism that you think still exist in our society and need to be addressed in any way?
Look, my wife is Hispanic, and so I've been part of that community all my life, and I don't have time for racism. I really don't. I mean, I like to treat people with respect. I hope they'll treat me with that same respect. It's how I live my life, and I think that if everybody could land there, we'd have a much better society. We need to quit making race an issue. What we need to do is make respect, follow through, hard work. Those are the issues that I evaluate a person on.
So you're different than other candidates. You have not been elected to office on a state or a local level. Why should voters put so much trust in you for such a big position right now? How are you going to earn that trust?
Well, I get standing ovations when I walk into a room and tell them I'm not a career politician. People in Colorado are ready for something different. We've sent a lot of politicians to the Senate, we've sent a lot of politicians to different places, and they're not getting the job done. People want somebody with business experience that knows how working Americans have to try and scrap together enough cash to pay for their groceries, their gas bill, their whatever else is inflated, heating bill. These are all costs. Right now, in America, they're saying that the average family is paying almost $460 a month in additional taxes that's been caused by this inflation. That's a tax. And so we need representation there that's been there, done that, knows how to get things done. And that's why I threw my hat in this race, is politicians aren't getting it done.
Are you worried at all about, there's obviously, if you are elected, an adjustment period, learning the ropes and making sure that your voice is being heard as a freshman senator. How are you going to make sure that that transition works smoothly so that you can get right to business?
Well, I'll do what I've always done. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and I'll go to work. And I'm not afraid of an 80-hour work week. I'll work hard for Colorado. And I think when you're at the forefront of your mind, if it's about Colorado and about leaving a better place in Colorado for our kids and our grandkids, it's pretty easy to get motivated to go to work. And I'm going to go to work when I hit that Senate.
Let's transition a little bit and talk a little bit about climate change. Do you believe in man-made climate change, and how big of a priority should the U.S. be putting on mitigating the impacts of it?
Look, there's no doubt that the climate is changing. Everybody can agree that it is getting warmer. How much of it's caused by man-made, how much of it's natural, I think there's a debate there still to be had. But we can't shut down our electric grid, our power sources here in the United States while China is approving hundreds of coal mines over there and polluting the other side of the world at the cost of working Americans. We've got to keep a perspective about it. I believe in energy. I believe we need more energy, whether it's wind, solar, whether it's nuclear, whether it's hydrogen, geothermal, whether it's fossil fuels. We need more energy. There's no question about it. But when we stifle the supply and haven't changed the demand, we're in trouble. And that's why we're seeing these $5 gas prices right now.
So a couple of piggybacks on that one. One, is that to say that just because China is doing it, we should be able to do it as well? Or how do you have more of a global forward-thinking approach?
Well, having a global approach means getting our federal leases opened up over on the western slope so we can export the cleanest gas molecule in the world out of the western slope. If we start to export that, we get rid of problems like Russia invading Ukraine, because we're taking our good clean gas and selling that to Europe. They're no longer dependent. We're taking our good clean gas and selling that to Japan and Asia. They're no longer a victim of whatever China happens to do to them later. So those are the ways that you start to shape policy, and you make it cheaper to do the right thing as opposed to a mandate or stifling our fossil fuels.
Do you see a path forward, my second follow-up, for a very gradual transition away from fossil fuels?
Well, it certainly has to be gradual, because right now, I think somebody ran a number, 90% of the cars on the road here in Colorado are still being driven by gas. Can I say that again? Yeah. I think it has to be a gradual transition, because if you look at it, over 90% of the vehicles here on the roads here in Colorado are still running on gas. And until we have a good substitute, we can't just mandate the higher price. It's not making any sense. It doesn't make any sense to working Americans.
What would you do? The fact of the matter is that Colorado has had some of the worst wildfires in our history in the past couple of years. What would you like to see done to not only make sure that we are resilient as a state, but that those wildfires aren't happening in the first place?
Well, I think we need to do a better job of managing our forests. For a long time, we've not been into those forests, doing pruning, taking out some of the dead stuff. We're going to have to start to spend more money up front, especially in the Front Range and along areas now where a lot of the homes are moving up into these forests. That has to be a priority. We also need to be prepared to fight these fires. I'd like to see us invest in helicopters with infrared so that they could dump on these fires late at night when they're dormant and they're not blowing. There's other things that we can do to make sure we can fight these fires.
So let's go ahead and transition just a bit and talk about marijuana. It's been legal here in Colorado for about 10 years. Is it time for, and I'm going to wait for that guy, but is it time for safe banking to be legalized by Congress?
Look, we need to make it to where you can deposit money from one of those facilities. It's settled law here in Colorado. I think marijuana passed about 2012. We should make the banking to where those guys can actually bank their businesses. But we also need to look at the potency. And I think we've got really high potent marijuanas that have been cultivated that are far different than what was going on here 30 years ago. We need to get control of that and make sure the kids don't have access to that.
There's also been a push in Capitol Hill for more reining in of big tech in various ways. So the American Innovation and Choice Online Act is one example of that. What would you like to see done about big tech, and how do you balance that with, allowing businesses to be able to run themselves the way they see fit?
Well, I think it's important that we have freedom of speech. I don't believe that Biden appointing somebody to monitor what's on big tech is a good idea. It's too close to preventing people from having that freedom of speech that we've so enjoyed all our lives. At the same time, if we've got monopolies or we've got situations from some of the big tech, then we should put a process in place to review that and make sure that we still have competition in the market.
And so what should we really be considering with how much technology, how much Twitter, how much Facebook and TikTok are really playing into our conversations every day? Not just our conversations, but our political conversations. I mean, do we need to really consider the role that it's playing in those realms and how it's affecting our politics?
Well, I think we do, but at the same time, we can't just ban someone else's opinion. That's not right. That's an encroachment on our freedom of speech. So there has to be balance with it. Where that is, that's probably the debate. I don't have an answer today, but I'd be willing to listen to that.
Let's go ahead and transition again and talk a little bit about border security. What specifically would you like to see done when it comes to border security? We had the Trump administration pushing for a physical wall, but what would you like to see done?
Well, I'd like to see us finish the wall. We've got all the materials laying down there in Texas. They're already paid for. Let's go back and let's finish that wall. We've got to secure our border. And it's not only just an illegal immigration problem, it's a fentanyl problem. 98% of the drugs are coming straight up I-25. When you start talking to people about the human trafficking that's going on, I mean, somebody told me a story where you can buy a 13-year-old girl down on the border for $1,200. That's not the America that I know. We've got to shut that down. And the part that's really stressing a lot of families here in Colorado that I've talked to is the cartels coming into our neighborhoods up here in Colorado now. A lot of them left Mexico years ago, and they're here legally, they're earning a living, and now they've got these cartels to deal with again. That's why they left Mexico. So we've got to make sure that we shore up this border. At the same time, we need a good legal immigration system. We need one that's streamlined, that processed work that people can count on.
Just check the timing here. It looks like we have a little bit more. Following up on that, do you have any specific examples of cartels here in Colorado?
Just talk to the cops. If you talk to the Denver Police Department, I've got friends over there, they'll tell you exactly what's going on.
Okay. So where do you think the government is, before I ask that one, let me ask you one more on that. What do you think needs to be done about immigration? And in particular, I'm maybe thinking of the Dreamers. What do you think you should do about them?
Well, look, they're here of no fault of their own. I think we should find a path to citizenship for them. Who's going to take them all home? That doesn't make any sense at all. It's not going to happen, and their home is here. So I think there is a path forward for that. The rest of these people that are here and they're here illegally, they should get in line. We should have a process, but they need to go through that process. We can't just give everybody citizenship. I disagree with that. We need to solve that issue. The way we solve immigration is the first thing is to get shore this border up, make sure that no one else is coming here illegally, and then we can deal with the Dreamers and get that passed, and then we can move on and deal with the rest of the problem that we have.
So something that I've heard from Republicans in particular is that there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of waste in government. I'm wondering from your standpoint, what do you see as the most wasteful thing? Is there anything that you, day one, want to start looking at?
Well, I've seen it in every bureaucracy that I've dealt with, and I've been running my business for 35 years here in Colorado. We've contracted with municipalities, we've contracted with locals, we've contracted with the federal government, we've contracted with the state, and what I see is a lot of extra people. I think if you want to begin to cut the bureaucracy down, you can't just limit it to one thing. You've got to go after all of it. It made me a little nervous when I heard that 60% of federal workers were not deemed essential during COVID. If they're not essential, then why are they there? I think we have to look at all of it.
And so what does that realistically look like? What does cutting it down look like, and where would those people find jobs? I assume you mean the private sector.
I'm sure they can find a job in the private sector. I've got a sign hanging at my place. I can hire 50 more people today, and I'm not the only business looking for help right now. I don't know where you go to a restaurant and you can't find somebody looking for more help. So there's plenty of jobs available in the private sector. They'll hire these people. I'm not worried about that. I think the way you attack it is a gradual. You start to cut back some of the spending that's going on in each and one of those bureaucracies and force them into an attrition where we can start getting rid of the numbers. That's how you do it.
Does the military budget need to be cut down? It is by far our largest.
No, you need a strong military. Look what's going on with China and Taiwan right now, what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. We need to make sure we keep our military people employed.
And since you brought up Ukraine, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. This war has been going on since February, so we're talking about nearly 4 months now. What further actions do you think the U.S. could or should take to try to bring it to an end?
Well, the reason this happened is Biden was asleep at the wheel. I mean, look what happened in Afghanistan. That's where a lot of this started. Putin immediately saw weakness and he began to move into Ukraine. He began very early. Biden could have taken a lot of those assets that we left in Afghanistan and moved those into Ukraine, which would have really been a deterrent had Putin seen those amount of weapons coming into that community where they can defend themselves. So we're asleep at the wheel. And now we've got a war that, Putin's a thug. He should be kept at bay. We should make sure that we give Ukrainians anything that they need so that we can make sure they can defend themselves, defend their freedom. Because if they don't stop him there, where does he stop? Does he go into a NATO nation next? I don't believe in boots on the ground for the United States, but I do believe that NATO needs to do their job and we need to provide Ukraine with what they need.
And continuing on that international front, tell me a little bit about China. There are some negotiations right now about possibly lessening the tariffs in order to offer some relief and even maybe some relief for oil and gas. I mean, what would you like to see done when it comes to our relationship with China?
Well, we need to make sure we keep in perspective that they're not our friend. They're an adversary. And we need to keep our guard up. We need to watch them very, very carefully. I really worry about Taiwan right now with where the weakness is in the White House and his inability to have good policies. The tariffs, I would leave them in place if I were in the Senate right now. I don't believe that we should make it cheaper to deal with China than it should be here in the United States. It's funny to me that the one thing that's driving this is solar panels. They want to be able to have solar panels come directly from China. I disagree with that. Why are we strengthening them? Let's build those here. Let's move the red tape so that we can actually mine sand here in the United States and we can make our own panels.
Let's just do a few more questions about you specifically.
I got about 3 more minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about campaign spending. You've put quite a bit of money into your own campaign. It's not completely unique. We've seen that with other candidates in the past. Do you have to have a big personal war chest these days, do you think, in order to be able to be a candidate to contend with?
Well, you need a grassroots effort. And that's really what we've built. Yes, I've used some of my own treasure and my wife's treasure to make sure that we can get across to tighter times during this campaign. But we also have built a huge coalition. Governor Bill Owens, Senator Hank Brown, Mark Tillman, John Caldera, Laura Carno. We've built a very diverse team. We started by 23,000 signatures to get on this ballot. My wife got signatures, I got signatures, my family was out getting signatures. I had 4 aunts that got almost 1,000 signatures all combined. And that's a lot of grassroots effort. That's what it takes here in Colorado. You've got to win over good, tough conservatives, but you also have to win over the independents, and we're going to grab some Democrats that are going to vote with us too. They're ready for a change.
And finally, sir, let's talk a little bit about a case that was settled last year with a former employee of yours who claimed age and disability discrimination. That employee also alleged that you encouraged workers not to file for workman claims. So, what should workers in the state, people that will be voting for you, take away from those allegations?
Well, all those allegations are patently false. She left disgruntled. That's her prerogative. She didn't have to work at my company. She left of her own volition. And I've treated thousands of working Americans here in Colorado that have had jobs for Concrete Express with the utmost respect. And the proof is in the age of the employees that are there. If you look at some of my employees, they've been there 30, 35 years. They didn't leave because we were discriminatory. They didn't leave because we were disrespectful. They're staying there because they believe in my leadership. And you know, one out of thousands of employees is disgruntled. I get it, but none of that is true.
I forgot to ask you about the lawsuit. Do you want to quickly talk about that?
Sure.
All right, just can you tell me a little bit about, you know, these mailers, the commercials that are going on in your lawsuit?
Sure. Well, my dad used to say, if you're taking fire, you must be over the target. And Schumer and the Democrats, dark money from back east, we're hearing they're on track to spend $10 million to keep me off the ballot. Why? Because Ron's a flip-flopping politician from California. They know they'll beat him like a drum here in November. They know if I'm the candidate, Michael Bennet won't be a senator anymore. We've taken legal action to make sure this stops. You know, it's interesting to me, Ron's running on a stolen election, but he's accepting money from Schumer and he's trying to steal the election. It makes no sense. It really speaks to his lack of character.
That is it, sir. Is there anything else I didn't ask you?
Anything else?
Or is there any question that you wish a journalist would ask you?
Sure. Well, let me tell you, I usually close with, thanks for having me here today. I'm super excited to be your next U.S. Senator. I'm from Colorado, fourth generation. I grew up here. My mom and dad are lifelong Coloradans, and adopted at birth, went to J.K. Mullen High School. I chased my wife on up to CSU, where we started a construction company that employs 300 families here in Colorado. And we started with nothing. And I want to make sure that we can leave that dream alive for my kids and my grandkids. That's why I'm running for the U.S. Senate. Hope to earn your vote. Thank you very much.